Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're embarking on, well, a truly surprising journey into a global market you might never have really considered. Compound camphor ointment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that common topical balm, often found in medicine cabinets, known for its soothing properties in various forms, muscle rubs, chest decongestants.
Right. Stuff many of us grew up with.
Exactly. We've got this detailed forecast report. It spans 2025 to 2033, and honestly, it's full of hidden gems.
That's right. And our mission today is to cut through the raw data, really pull out the most compelling insights from this market report.
Hmm.
And we're not just here to, list off numbers, but to uncover what these trends really tell us about global economic dynamics and maybe where unexpected growth is actually bubbling up.
You might be thinking, compound camphor ointment. Seriously, how deep can that possibly go? But trust me, you'll likely be genuinely surprised by just the sheer scale of this industry.
Yeah.
And the intriguing regional shifts it shows. It's a fantastic case study, really, in seeing the bigger economic picture through something, well, remarkably specific. So let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with the global overview, the big picture. The report paints a picture of, well, pretty consistent, robust growth. Back in 2021, this market recorded global sales revenue of over $2.35 billion.
Billion, yeah. And that's just the baseline, right? The projection shows a steady climb from there, hitting nearly $2.77 billion by 2025.
Okay.
And then quite a significant jump after that to over $3.8 billion by 2033.
Wow.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, that translates to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of just over 4.1% for the entire forecast period.
Right.
What's noteworthy here, I think, is the sheer scale and maybe resilience of what seems like such a niche market. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it just keeps expanding globally.
That's a remarkable trajectory for, well, essentially a single type of product. But the real question, the one that tells us about the market dynamics, is where is this growth most pronounced?
Exactly.
That's where the regional breakdown really starts to tell a story. Let's peel back the layers continent by continent, maybe starting with North America.
Sure. Sounds good.
Shifting our focus then to North America, the market was already strong, over $827 million back in 2021. It's expected to reach nearly $958 million by 2025 and projected to hit about $1.27 billion by 2033. So that gives it a regional CGR around 3.6%.
Right. And within North America, the United States, as you might guess, leads in just sheer volume. Its market started around $669 million in 2021.
Okay.
And is projected to reach almost $974 million by 2033. That's growing at just over, say, 3.2, almost 3.3% annually.
Right.
But here's the interesting bit. If you look closer, Canada and Mexico are actually growing noticeably faster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Canada shows a KGR of about 4.55%, and Mexico is even higher, nearing 4.77%.
Huh. So while the U.S. is the biggest piece of the pie, it's the smaller players, Canada and Mexico, showing more dynamic growth. Does this faster growth there suggest maybe a different market strategy or perhaps stronger cultural acceptance, maybe?
That's a sharp observation. It could suggest a couple of things, really. In more mature markets like the U.S., you might be bumping up against market saturation or maybe just slower population growth.
Right, makes sense.
But in places like Canada and Mexico, we could be seeing maybe expanding distribution networks or increasing awareness campaigns, or perhaps even a growing middle class with more disposable income for, health and wellness products.
Got it.
It's often about finding that market white space and tapping into evolving consumer habits.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, now let's compare that to Europe, which is, a region with its own diverse economic landscape.
Definitely.
So Europe saw revenues of over $625 million in 2021. That's projected to rise to nearly $954 million by 2033, which gives it a regional CAGR of about 3.68%. So pretty similar overall growth to North America, actually.
Yeah, very close regionally. But Europe offers a great example of quite varied growth within the region, even among developed economies.
How so?
Well, while countries like, say, Italy and Denmark show CAGRs below 3%. Italy's around 2.9, Denmark's about 2.5%.
Okay, slower growth there.
Right. But then you have countries like the United Kingdom and Luxembourg standing out with significantly higher growth rates. The UK is approaching 4.8%.
Wow, that's quite a difference.
It is, and Luxembourg is just over 4.3%. So this really raises an important question. What unique market factors might be at play in these faster-growing European economies?
Right.
Is it Maybe specific regulatory environments? Or, I don't know, innovative marketing? Or perhaps even a resurgence in demand for traditional remedies? It's hard to say just from the numbers, but it's definitely a point of interest.
That's a compelling point. It really shows how even within these sort of established markets, you can find these pockets of significant dynamism. Okay, let's travel now to Asia Pacific, which the report suggests is a true powerhouse in this market.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Asia Pacific recorded over $540 million in 2021, and it's projected to grow to a really substantial $938 million by 2033, boasting a strong regional CAGR of about 4.57%, so faster than North America or Europe overall.
Right. And what's striking here is China's sheer dominance in terms of volume. It led with over 182 million back in 2021
Wow.
and is projected to hit nearly 328 million by 2033. That's at a strong 4.9% CAGR.
Huge.
Huge market.
Huge.
But you shouldn't overlook India. India actually has the highest CAGR in the entire region, an impressive 5.6%.
5.6, okay.
Yeah, and Southeast Asia is following pretty closely behind that at just over 5% CAGR.
So that really signals what? Booming populations, growing incomes?
Exactly. Growing disposable incomes, potentially expanding access to healthcare products. It's that classic emerging market story playing out in these regions for this product.
Fascinating to see that that dual story, the large volume leaders like China, alongside these incredibly fast-growing economies like India and Southeast Asia. Okay, moving on. South America.
Yep.
In South America, sales revenue was nearly $139 million in 2021. It's rising to almost $213 million predicted for 2033.
Okay.
That puts the regional CAGR at about 3.77%, and Brazil seems to lead this region with a CAGR just under 4.4%.
Right, and the Middle East also shows some pretty promising growth. It started just under $120 million in 2021 and is forecast to reach over $205 million by 2033. That's a significant key TR2, about 4.65%.
Almost like Asia Pacific's average.
Pretty close, yeah. And within the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and the UAE look like particularly strong contributors. Both have key GRs approaching 5%.
So again, highlighting that global spread.
Definitely. Global spread of demand, probably tied to health awareness, maybe increasing consumer spending power in those areas.
Makes sense. Okay, and now, for the region that, well, based on the numbers, truly stood out in this deep dive, Africa.
Ah, yes, Africa. Quite the story here.
This market segment was just under $99 million in 2021, which sounds relatively small compared to, say, North America.
True.
But it's projected to rise sharply to almost $136 million by 2025, and then a really significant jump to $247 million by 2033.
And here's where it gets really compelling, as you said. Africa has, by far, the highest regional CAGR. It's an astounding 7.77%.
7.7%, wow.
Yeah, and within Africa, South Africa truly shines. Its CAGR is projected at 8.42%.
8.42, that's the highest country-level growth rate we've seen in the entire report, isn't it?
It is, by a noticeable margin. Yeah. Nigeria also shows really robust growth, just under 7.4% CAGR. This acceleration in Africa really pushes us to consider, what are the unique market conditions? What are the demand drivers at play there?
Absolutely. An 8.4% CAGR for South Africa. That's just remarkable. What are your initial thoughts on why this particular product is experiencing such a surge there? Is it accessibility, affordability, something else?
Well, it's likely a combination of factors, I'd guess. Rapid urbanization often leads to increased population density, and with that comes a need for readily available, affordable health solutions.
Right. Simple, effective treatments.
Exactly. And as economies grow, even modestly, purchasing power increases, making basic health products like this ointment more accessible to more people. There could also be strong cultural ties, perhaps, to traditional remedies where camphor is a well-known, trusted ingredient. So it becomes a go-to solution for everyday ailments.
A familiar solution.
Precisely. It's really a powerful story, potentially, of an emerging market embracing a practical, accessible product.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. What does this all mean for you, the listener? This deep dive into, let's face it, the compound camphor ointment market has really highlighted some fascinating, often hidden dynamics of global commerce.
It really has. You've seen that while the overall market is on this steady upward path.
Yeah, that 4.1% global CAGR.
Right. But the real story, the more interesting story perhaps, is in the regional variations. You go from the mature markets of North America and Europe, where you still find these specific pockets of dynamism.
Like the UK or Mexico.
Exactly. All the way to the incredibly rapidly expanding markets of Asia-Pacific, the Middle East, and especially Africa. This isn't just about, one single product. It's about understanding how these diverse geographical factors, things like demographics, income levels, cultural preferences, healthcare access, how they fundamentally shape economic growth.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that global economics aren't just about, giant tech companies or huge industrial shifts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most common, seemingly unassuming products, like this ointment, hold the keys to understanding really important consumer trends and spotting emerging market opportunities worldwide.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the, I have to say, surprising world of compound camphor ointment market trends. We genuinely hope this exploration has given you a fresh perspective on how to analyze market data and maybe even made you look at your own medicine cabinet just a little differently.
And as you reflect on what we've discussed today, maybe consider this. If a product as specific, as seemingly mundane as compound camphor ointment can reveal such dramatic and varied growth across continents,
Right.
what other seemingly niche markets out there might hold similar powerful insights into global economic shifts and those emerging opportunities we talked about? Definitely something to chew on.
Indeed it is. We look forward to our next deep dive with you.